If you're in the market for landing page software and you are overwhelmed by all the options, you're in the right place. I'm Karanda Adair, certified automation service provider and CEO of Carvel Digital. And in today's video, I'm going to talk to you about two of the top options for landing page software, LeadPages and Thrive Themes, and give you some guidance on how to choose the best option for your business. Let's get into it. Now, if I were making this video 5 or 6 years ago, it would probably be a lot about the actual technology and the features of the software. Back then, there were far more differences in the abilities of different software from different companies. Nowadays, the playing field is much more level. You've got some core things that you want in landing page software, things like having a drag and drop interface in order to create your designs, having opt-in forms, having integrations so that you can connect to your email provider service and other tools that you use. Being mobile friendly is definitely a must. You've got to have analytics so that you can actually measure their performance. And it's nice to have A/B testing so that you can test different pages against each other and determine a winner. Both of these tools have all of those things. So how do you go about differentiating and figuring out which one you should choose? It really comes down to a philosophical difference, and that is, would you rather rent or pay for software that's hosted by the software company, or would you rather own and install the software on your own server and have more control over that software and your data? So with a renting model, you're typically going to outsource more of the technical headaches. You're going to have more support, hopefully, because there's a team behind that software that's going to support you in learning how to use it and helping you troubleshoot. It's going to have a simpler setup because you don't have to install anything. You simply log in and you start creating your pages. The downside of all that simplicity is that you are going to pay more for the privilege of having all that ease, and it's going to be harder to take all your data and your pages. If you decide you no longer want to use that software, you're going to have to most likely recreate your pages on an entirely new service. On the other hand, Thrive Themes is a suite of marketing-focused plugins that are made to work with WordPress. So the downside of owning your software is that you're going to have a more complex setup, but on the flip side, you're going to have a lot more control. You're going to be able to do whatever you want with your data. There's not going to be any company telling you what you can or can't do with the software, and it's typically going to be a lot cheaper. So comparing cost of LeadPages to Thrive Themes, LeadPages, you're going to pay about $99 a month or about $1,200 a year versus Thrive Themes, where you get not only the landing pages, but their entire suite of marketing focused word plugins for $300 a year. So you're going to save about $900 a year by being willing to go with your own solution and host it on your own WordPress site. When it comes to software and data, do you prefer to rent or do you prefer to own? Tell me about it in the comments. If you already have a WordPress site, you might be thinking, well, I don't use Thrive Themes yet, and I don't want to have to recreate my entire website. Or if you're not on WordPress, you might be thinking, well, I'm on Squarespace or some other hosted non-WordPress solution, and I don't want to have to upgrade my entire site just to have landing pages. Let me introduce you to the concept of a marketing layer. This is a concept that was introduced to me by my marketing mentor, Chris L. Davis of Automation Bridge. The idea is that you install a very bare bones WordPress installation that's only used to host your landing pages. This does a couple of things for you. One, it allows you to own your data and do whatever you want with your landing pages. Two, it keeps your site very lean and very fast. And three, it keeps your site and your landing pages and your important marketing pages separate from your main website. So if anything were to happen, you were to have issues or your main website goes down, your marketing layer is still there. You can still be marketing, you can still be collecting leads and generating sales. So that's the idea of the marketing layer. And I actually have a very short, less than an hour lesson on how we actually create our landing pages using Thrive Themes. And I include what we use for hosting and everything. So I'll put the link to that down below. One of the biggest objections that I hear to using a WordPress-based solution is the tech and the upkeep and the maintenance. There's a really simple solution for this. Hire a company whose sole purpose is to keep your WordPress site up to date and running smoothly. A lot of times your hosting will offer this as an upgrade, or if not, you can find a dedicated company, and I will leave a link to one of the ones that I like in the description below. Many of those companies will even do small updates for you that they can do within about 30 minutes. So you don't ever have to log into your site if you don't want to. You can simply send them an email, ask them for updates, and go on about your day. So, with all these technical similarities, is there anything to majorly differentiate these two companies? Well, there are a couple of things that might sway you in one direction or the other. The first is A B testing. While both LeadPages and Thrive Themes offer A B testing, in looking through the documentation and in having personal experience with the Thrive Themes A B testing suite, I would say Thrive is the definite winner on this one. In Thrive Themes, you can create a page, and if you want to A B test it, it's as simple as clicking a button, making a second version of the page in one click, making your change, and then you can run a test. This is really common with all the surfaces, but the difference with Thrive Themes is that you can set the test to run based on the criteria you set. And when the test ends, it will automatically choose the winner and it will make that page the permanent page. It will do this all automatically without you having to intervene at all. So, for instance, you could say, I want to test these two pages and I want to wait until at least 300 people have seen both pages and then choose the winner. Or you could say, I want to wait 2 weeks and then choose the winner. You set it, you forget it, it chooses the winner. You could conceivably just make a habit of going in and creating a new test every month for your pages and just keep optimizing and improving performance with very little hands on effort. LeadPages does have A B testing, but you'll have to go in and analyze the results yourself and choose the winner manually. Now, we all know that AI is the new hotness right now, and LeadPages has jumped on this bandwagon with an AI engine. So they claim you can generate copy with a single click and publish pages faster than ever. Now, that seems really cool, but I would caution that if you are not a copywriter and you don't have marketing expertise, it's probably not a great idea to let the robots do it for you without having a human who can check that page out and make sure that it's actually going to work for your business. So I default to the humans on that. That wouldn't be something that would sway me over to LeadPages. There's other AI options out there if you want to use AI in creating your copy or assisting you in creating your copy. So those were the two major differences that I saw between those two. Really, comes down to a philosophical question of, do you like the ease and simplicity of just paying for the software, logging in and doing your thing? Or do you like the security, the flexibility, and the freedom of owning your software and being able to do whatever you need to do with it, and knowing that if you want to change things up, change your design, you have the freedom to do that and you're not going to have to rebuild on a whole different platform. So, what about you? Are you a renter or an owner? I hope this has been helpful in helping you narrow down the options on what's going to be best for your business. If you like this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next video. And if you need help figuring out what to do with those leads after you get them, sign up for my webinar, Turn ActiveCampaign into a Sales Engine. I'll show you how to build an automated marketing engine that will help you build relationships at scale, shorten your sales cycle, and make more sales in less time. You can find the link down in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.